guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I know this video is going up a day late. That's kind of been a running theme with me this week. I'm getting legally married in just a few days, so I assume my videos this week and next week will be just a little sporadic, just so you guys are aware of that. But I did get my Nightworms package for August 2023, and I did want to make sure to open it up with y'all. I am a little hesitant about this package. I know what's in it. And I'm a little underwhelmed with what the spoilers are, but again, we try not to judge books by covers, so, and concepts. So let's open this up and see what we've got. For those of you guys who do not know, Nightworms is a monthly book subscription box. It retails for $39.99 plus shipping and handling. That comes out to about like $48 for me every single month. I've been subscribed to this book since... I've been subscribed to this box since like April of 2020, I believe, and there's really only been a few times that boxes haven't impressed me. It's probably my favorite horror subscription box out there right now. The Twisted Retreat is coming in real strong. But let's go in and see what we have, because every single month you usually get 2 books. Sometimes you get 1 and like an anthology or some kind of like special edition, like magazine, just something that's not a novel. And this month is going to be one of those, which I'm a little concerned about, because then the novel that we get, I'm also hesitant about. But let's dive in. So I'm pulling everything out right now. We do have a big old thing of coffee right here. This is coffee, right? Yeah, this is Haunted Cups Coffee Tropical Terror. And it says, scary folks need a vacation too. And the flavors are coconut, a hint of caramel. So, and it is made in Biddeford, Maine, it looks like. There we are. I do like when they give us large coffees. We tend to get those when we get like smaller books or like a magazine plus 1 novel. Like if we only get like 1 novel and then something else, they tend to give us larger coffees. So we have our goodie bag. Let's see, Horror Junkie is our theme for this month. I do actually quite like this bookmark, and I like the back a lot. You get a whole big old stack of books and then a little skull with like a worm coming out of it. Very cool. Love their bookmarks. We do get a signed book plate. One of the novels this month is from 2 authors, so we do have them both signed. Ooh, we get a magnet. Love when they give us a magnet. And it says Nightworms, and we have a little bookworm with some ghosts reading a book. Very cute. Love when they give us magnets. And then we have a sticker with a skull eating candy and what looks like books. Candy and a bunch of other stuff. And then obviously we have our spoiler card, and on the back it does say Haunted Cups Coffee presents Tropical Terror Cold Brew. Okay, so it's a cold brew. And then it has full instructions on how to make the cold brew. Interesting. Okay, cool. So let's dive in and see what these books are. I think I'm gonna go for the novel first. It is a hard book. Here we go. I do really like this cover right off the bat of this house that kind of falling in. And this is the Handyman Method by, and this is what kills me, Nick Cutter and Andrew F. Sullivan. It says it is a story of terror. And then we have a quote from Richard Shizmar, who wrote Chasing the Boogeyman. And it says, nightmare territory, often terrifying, consistently unsettling, and dripping with mounting dread, a modern masterpiece. I'm going to read the inside flap, and then I'm going to tell you why I'm not thrilled with this book. When the Saban family moves into a rural, unfinished development community, cracks begin to emerge in both their new residence and their lives. As a father wrestling with his unemployment and his uncertain place in the world, Trent Saban's attempts at DIY home repairs lead him down an online rabbit hole, where paranormal radicalization surreptitiously... that was so hard to say. Where a paranormal radicalization surreptitiously takes hold as a mysterious instructor delivers dark subliminal suggestions of how to handle any problem around the house. Meanwhile, stepping into the sole breadwinner role, his wife, Rita, tries to hold the family together as matters spiral out of control and go from bad to worse. Even as their son Milo, a boy left to his own devices, exhibits the sinister side effects of far too much screen time. The trials of home improvement, destructive insecurities, and a horror beyond imagination collide in this terrifying story that will haunt readers long after the final page is turned. Alright, what is my issue with this book, guys? If you've been on my channel long enough, you probably know. I don't actually know anything about Andrew F. Sullivan, but I know a lot about Nick Cutter. Nick Cutter wrote The Troop and he wrote The Deep. And my issues with both of those books is that they were on my I will probably never read list. I have a whole video on books I will not read, and Nick Cutter is very heavily featured on that. And why is that? Nick Cutter is known for kind of like gross out horror. That's his thing. I don't mind that. That's not something I love. That's not something that's not something I necessarily look for in a novel, but it's also not something that, like, if I read it, I'm gonna, like, be put off by that author. Body horror, stuff like that. What I don't like is animal cruelty in my horror. And his books have supposedly gratuitous animal cruelty. I believe The Deep has one focusing on a dog, and then I believe the Troop has one on a turtle as well as a kitten. I'm not 100% sure if that's accurate, but that is the type of horror I don't believe in. I think that is cheap horror. I think it is something that an author does, especially when they are, like, gratuitous and it's not just to further a plot or character development. I find it to just be a cop-out and an easy way out to offend and gross out a reader. So I really, really hope that there is nothing like that in this novel, and you guys can bash me in the comments all you want. I get a lot of people who don't like when I talk about that, but that is something I don't personally want to read. If you want to read it, go read Nick Cutter. But please sound off in the comments down below if the Handyman Method has animal cruelty, because if it does have a significant amount of it, I'm not going to be reading this book, and I will probably put it up on my Pango Books or something like that. But that is just me. That is my opinion. Hopefully it doesn't. I would like to read a Nick Cutter novel and, like, understand the hype around him, because people seem to really, really like him. Other people seem really divided and dislike him, but I don't know. The cover looks cool. The concept is great. I'm super into DIY home projects. I do a ton of them. I used to have a TikTok that heavily focused on that stuff, so there you go. Anyways, let's go into the next book. And this is the other thing that I'm a little hesitant about. So this is 101 Horror Books to Read Before You're Murdered, with a foreword by Josh Malerman, and this is written by Sadie Motherhar Hartman, and as it says, co-owner of Nightworms and editor-in-chief of Dark Heart, which is a horror magazine. This is a very cool concept. I don't necessarily know if I needed this in my $50 subscription box. I'm going to read the back of the book for y'all. So it's the ultimate list of must-read horror. Curious readers and fans of monsters and the macabre, get ready to bulk up your TBR piles. Sadie Motherhar Hartman has curated the best selection of modern horror books, including plenty of deep cuts. Indulge your heart's darkest desires to be terrified, unsettled, disgusted, and heartbroken with stories that span everything from paranormal hauntings and creepy death cults to small-town terrors and apocalyptic disasters. Each recommendation includes a full synopsis as well as a quick overview of the book's theme, style, and tone, so you can narrow down your next read at a glance. Featuring a foreword by New York Times bestselling author Josh Malerman and 5 brand new essays from rising voices in the genre, this illustrated reader's guide is perfect for anyone who dares to delve into the dark. I do really, really wish that this was just something that Nightworms had on their website for purchase. I don't love that it was given to me, because I probably wouldn't have purchased this on my own. It is signed, so that's pretty cool. And I know that this is a real signature because there's little ink blots on the opposite page. And why wouldn't she sign it? She owns the company and packs these bags for us. So the table of contents is kind of cool. We have it divided up into paranormal, human monsters, supernatural, and natural order horror. Those subcategories include haunted houses, ghosts, creatures and cryptids, coming of age, grief, loss, and death, cults, slashers and serial killers, body horror, creepy kids, crime investigation, demons and possession, the occult and witchcraft, cosmic horror, apocalyptic, dystopian, and sci-fi, and eco-horror. And then we have essays by Cassandra Caw, who I don't necessarily love, Eric LaRocca, who I don't necessarily love, Haley Piper, who I don't know, and R.J. Joseph, who I don't know. Oh, and they also have short story collections and another essay by Daniel Kraus. There is a book checklist. So the one thing I do really want to do, since I am here, is just kind of go through and see what books are on this. I'm not going to read all of them to you guys because I do feel like that is going to take away from you guys if you did want to purchase this book and if you're interested in it. The illustrations in this are really, really pretty. But one of the things that makes me a little hesitant about this is I've read a lot of Mother Horror's reviews, and she tends to love a lot of books I hate. Cassandra Caw is one of her, most talked about authors right now, and I just can't stand Cassandra Caw's writing. Let's see. Let's go through, and I'm just going to stop when I get to... Okay, Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. I have read that. The Switch House by Tim Meyer. Do love me some Tim Meyer. And then they seem to have like recommended titles that aren't just like highlighted here. Oh, they have author spotlights. That's cool. We have Heart Shaped Box by Joe Hill, which I do adore. Definitely some recent releases that were actually included in Nightworms. Yeah, I like these author spotlights a lot. Ooh, Creatures and Cryptids. Ghoul. Ghoul I read. That was actually included in one of my first Nightworms boxes ever. They have an author spotlight on V. Castro, who I am not a fan of. I will say the illustrations in this are beautiful. I do actually really like this. This is a very well put together book. Very, very well put together. Boys in the Valley by Philip Fracassi is here. More books I haven't read. There are definitely some fun moments in here. There is an author spotlight on Grady Hendrix, which I will definitely read. I'll probably read through this. The Year of the Witching is on here, which I didn't love. Hex is on here, which I did. Anya Alborn gets a whole author spotlight, as she should. Let's see, we have a Cosmic Horror section. Have I read any of these? No. I mean, but I really do appreciate this kind of comic book style illustration. That is really cool. This is definitely more in depth than I thought it was going to be. Ooh, Coming of Age Horror. Do we have anything that I love? December Park by Ronald Malfi. Y'all, everybody should read that book. That book is so good. I actually haven't read any of these other coming of age horror stories, which is unfortunate because that's like my favorite genre. Josh Mallerman is here with a featured spotlight. I'm Thinking of Ending Things is on here. More books that we have received from Nightworms, which is cool. Paul Tremblay gets an author spotlight. The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher, though I probably would have put Hollow Places above it. Devil's Creek, Mexican Gothic. Mexican Gothic was featured in Nightworms. Little Eve. Little Eve was another book that Mother Horror really, really loved, and I just did not vibe with at all. Adam Neville gets his whole author spotlight, as he should. Oh man, Gone to See the Riverman has made it. Gone to See the Riverman made it, y'all. Love that. Ooh, body horror. I don't think I've read any of these. Creepy Kids. I haven't read any of these. Stephen Graham Jones gets an author spotlight. I'm not surprised by that. The Loop is on here. That was featured in Nightworms. I was not a fan of that book. Alma Katsu gets her own spotlight. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't necessarily think she is a premier horror author. I think some of the stuff that she's written is solid, but some of it I really don't like. The Deep by Nick Cutter has made it on here. I haven't read that, obviously. Annihilation, which I do need to read one day. And then we have short story collections. So I'm actually seeing something that actually really concerns me about this book. Just going, oh, shiver, do I own that? I think I do. It's Junji Ito. I think my friend got that for me for my engagement party, actually. I haven't read it yet. Okay, so let's talk about... I do like that they have a featured checklist in here. So they have some Jack Ketchum in there. I haven't read Jack Ketchum because he's an extreme author, but this is Horror Junkie. This is 101 horror books to read before you're murdered. And maybe there's an explanation as to why this isn't featured in this book. There wasn't a single Stephen King book in there. And there wasn't a single, like, definitive horror novel in there. And I can understand maybe not having some of, like, the Gothics, like Dracula and Frankenstein. I can almost understand that if we want to focus on contemporary horror. But you're going to sit here and you're going to tell me that Stephen King doesn't have a single book in 101 horror books to read before you're murdered? I don't love that. And one of the reasons I don't love that is because Sadie Hartman, and I really don't want to like trash this because I do appreciate Nightworms. I really, really love Nightworms, and I know she's the driving force behind that. Sadie Hartman like gets reposted and has like online conversations with Stephen King on Twitter all the time. Like they are very much in communication with each other. Tell me what your favorite Stephen King book is. And that's just something that, to me, it's like, why wouldn't we feature that? And that definitely bothers me a little bit. So this is definitely probably one of my least favorite Nightworms boxes that we've gotten. One, I'll give this a chance if I can confirm that there's like very minimal animal cruelty and hopefully none in this. I do like the concept. I love the cover. I really do. But this just isn't something I would have wanted. This is just like an extended review, and I get it. If you love Mother Horror and you really love her reviews and you seem to be on the same page with like what you like in horror, pick this up. Absolutely pick this up. I love it has a checklist. I love it has a lot of information on synopses and like why you should read it. But at the end of the day, it just feels so contemporary. And if it's 101 books to read before you're murdered, I feel like we should expand to, you know, books from the 70s, 80s, etc. Anyway, that's just me. Let's go through the little spoiler card, just to be sure we have everything. So yes, we get 101 books to read before you're murdered, The Handyman Method by Nick Cutter and Andrew F. Sullivan, a candy sticker, The Worm Magnet, the Horror Junkie bookmark, and the Tropical Terror coffee. Anyways, yeah, so again, not super impressed by this, but if you're interested in this book, hopefully this little overview I just did will convince you whether or not to pick this up. And please, again, somebody tell me if they've read this and if I'm going to be really offended by that book or not. Anyways, that is all that I have for you guys today. As always, I post every Monday and Thursday, hopefully, sometimes on Saturdays. And if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye.